Because the next speaker, பாட்டு வேணுமா பாட்டு இருக்கு, டான்ஸ் வேணுமா டான்ஸ் இருக்கு, ஃபார்முலா வேணுமா ஃபார்முலா இருக்கு, கணக்கு வேணுமா கணக்கு இருக்கு, டாக்டரேட் வேணுமா புதுசா really hot doctorate also she has received. Sangeeta Shankaran Sumesh, or in the speaking circles she is known as Sangeeta Shumsha. Welcome to the stage. Put your hands together for a completely unique topic, and she is debuting with her talk today. Over to you. The problem with software people is they run away with the hardware. Thank you.
500 crores in revenue, but less than 1% in profits. Is my time and effort even worth in spending in this building business? I'm having sleepless nights thinking how I can grow my profits. I wish maybe my second line leaders can help me grow the profits. But they're not financially literate. They are financially blind. They can't read numbers. They are financially deaf because they don't understand terms like EBIT. They are financially dumb because they can't speak the language of finance. So can I make them financially literate? My second line leaders actually have a huge phobia for finance. They even dislike numbers. Plus they tell me, finance is the duty of my CFO and the finance team. Why should I be looking at it? What should I do? I'm feeling stuck. I know my business needs financial leadership, but I'm not progressing anywhere. Wait! What if I told you your second line leaders do not have to be financial experts? Yes, let me repeat that again. Your second line leaders don't have to be financial experts. Wondering why? Because all that matters is knowing the key metric, using data, and driving business growth. How's that? I'm sure you want to know. Data is the new gold. How do you think our social media platforms are thriving? Maybe they heard you say, I'm going on a recent trip to Japan. Or maybe you Googled about places to visit in Japan. And what's in your social media feed? Hotels to stay in Japan. How did they know it? Because they are tracking your data. My friends, what is the data that you are tracking in your business? What is the data revealing about the financial status of your business? What is it showing about your financial health? Because if you don't use data effectively, it is data dump. But if you use your data wisely, it becomes financial trump. Where's your data? Where's your data? Get it now. Get it now. Alarm bells are ringing. Alarm bells are ringing. Crash, boom, bang. Crash, boom, bang. Isn't that what happened with Jet Airways? Jet Airways, like we know, their story went kaput. Their leaders did not track the key metrics. The debt was mounting. The debt metrics were not tracked by their leaders. They were not being financially prudent, and as a result, it collapsed. Now, if you were to look at Southwest Airlines, what was their secret? Every leader was taught to think in financial terms, including the ground staff. A 10-minute delay in a flight was not just considered as inconvenience to the passengers. It was considered as a financial blow to the business. And this was their secret sauce that helped them to grow the business financially. Let me give you another example of Microsoft. What do you think Satya Nadella did? He democratized metrics. Every leader was made to learn how to use the dashboard, how to read and interpret the data, and take financial decisions based on that. What was the outcome? It translated into quicker decisions, aligned accountability, as well as enhanced financial growth. So, my friends, how is it in your business? What is it that you are tracking? Oh, I know you said your second line leaders are not financially sound. They're not financially savvy. But can you address their financial blindness? And even if they're financially deaf or dumb, what can you do about it? Give them a financial implant. Financial implant? What is that? I'm sure you're wanting to know. Define key metrics. Make your second line leaders take ownership of it. Make them responsible and see how they can contribute to growth of those particular metrics. Now, supposing the metric that's most important for you is your profitability. Then what do? Define metrics such as profit per employee, profit per customer, profit per geography, or profit per product. While these are common metrics, you could do something beyond this as well. What is that? You can deep dive and set further metrics and assign it to each of your employees, each of your second line leaders, and make them track those specific metrics in relation to the line of work that they are doing. Profit per marketing campaign, profit per turnaround time, profit per digital asset, profit per square foot, profit of new customer versus old customer. What's the profit per leader, per manager, per leadership decision? So on and so forth. You start customizing your metrics. Give it to your second line leaders. No fluff, no jargon. You're only making them learn this metric and making them track the important metric in the area of work that they are in charge, they are responsible. Make them accountable. And that's when you do a financial implant on your team members. Now, you see some alphabets out here. This, let's say, is your data point. What do you infer from it? I'm sure you've heard of 24/7, but to me, this is 25/7. Does that ring a bell, giving you a clue? If you notice, these are the 25th, the 23rd, the 21st alphabet up to the 7th alphabet, basically every odd alphabet. Now that becomes your financial insight. So what do you do looking at this financial insight? You can drive some decisions. Maybe you want to say, let me come up with some 3-letter words, maybe 4 or maybe even 5-letter words. So remember, it's data, insights, decisions. Let me give you another example. I spoke about profitability as a metric. But you can have any other metric too that you can customize for your business. Let me give you an example of a large conglomerate that's headquartered right here in Chennai, a client of mine, One of their subsidiaries, the group companies, had a new CEO. And what did this CEO want them to track? Cash. So when he started telling his team that the metric they need to track is cash, guess what happened? The sales head started speaking about cash collections. The procurement head started negotiating better terms with their suppliers and vendors. And this started percolating through the organization. Everybody talking about cash. Of course, you must have heard. Top line is vanity. Bottom line is sanity. But cash is reality. My friends, what is the reality in your business? Nobody else knows the business as good as you. What is that area of financial focus that you want your second line leaders to focus upon, and that which will deliver the results that you want? Think about it. Use dashboards and data effectively. Like you notice in this cartoon, there's no shortage of data. Data is aplenty. But the problem is, data is not being read and interpreted correctly. And that is a huge gap. If a data doesn't translate into action, it's just ornamental. Every data must have an action. And that's why I say more data does not necessarily mean more insights. Because what you need to do is to focus on the key metrics. Because in data, less is more. If you start looking at many metrics, you lose the essence. The focus goes away. So define what are those sharp focus points in your business. I'd like you to think of the Samudra Manthan, churning of the ocean. So if you can get your leaders to churn your data, your metrics, and the insights, poison will appear. And also the nectar. Poison being your risk, your losses, those blind spots. And nectar being growth, profitability, sustainability. But remember, if it's just your finance team churning the data, your nectar is going to be limited. But if your entire leadership team can churn the data, that's when your business is headed for financial abundance. So let me reiterate my message to you. Your second line leaders don't have to be financial experts, because all that matters is knowing the right metric, using data to grow your business. Data is gold. Remember? DID. Data, insights, decisions. Have financial implants in your second line leaders. Define those clear metrics. Make them take the ownership. Make them deliver and grow that metric. Let the focus be sharp and clear on what they need to deliver. And get your entire leadership team to churn the data, because that's when your business heads for financial abundance. And by doing that, it's no longer data dump, but you're getting onto your financial trumps. डैशबोर्ड देखा तो ये जाना सनम, डेटा होता है पैसा सनम, अब डेटा से जाए इनसाइट हम, वरना लॉसेस में मर जाए हम. Data does not take decisions. Your leaders do. Empower and strengthen them to take the right business decisions and grow your business. Wishing you the best of financial high performance. Thank you.